Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're on the first updates 1.93 dev server, and it's time to have a look at the helicopters which are coming to the game. Now there are 3 of them, 2 Soviet and 1 Italian one. We don't know whether this is the full amount which is coming to the game in updates 1.93, but I'm sure we'll see in the future. The first one we're going to have a look at is the Mi-28N. This is the night version of the Mi-28, and it has a lot of firepower backing it up, making it a Rank VII battle rating 10.3 vehicle. The first thing I do want to mention though is the armor on this vehicle is actually quite substantial. 26mm, which completely covers the 2 pilots which are about, bulletproof glass worth 44.45mm, then of course the bulletproof glass on the side of 21mm with 20mm of alum ceramic and 16mm as well, just around the area. So overall, a very, very comprehensive little armor package that this has for the 2 pilots. You've got one who's sat here, who's seen as the gunner, and then you've got the pilots actually behind him. This machine is powered by 2 Klimov VK 2500 2 turbo shaft engines, and you can see that they actually flank themselves with some wonderful wings that you can see right here and here. I really like the design of the Mi-28. It really looks nice in my opinion. Like it looks very symmetrical. Everything just looks really lovely from the center point, especially with its 5-bladed propeller. Then, when it comes to its general armaments, it has access to a 30mm, the 2A42, that you can see right here. Then, a bunch of different secondary armaments that are available for the vehicle. First thing though is it does get access to flares, so 128 of them right here. And to start off with, the only thing that you can get for this vehicle, or at least from what I can see, is you get access to S13. You basically have the S8KO80s, so this is your starter loadout for the machine. So just 80 S8KO rockets, which is not flattering. It definitely is not the best, but at the same time, it does mean that you do get a bunch of rockets to start with, and basically just rock out as fast as you feel like it. So that's something to at least look at and be a bit happy about. The other thing as well is the other secondary armaments include 20 S13DF rockets. Now these pen 92mm and they're absolutely huge. So these are the stonking rockets, which should do a lot of damage to at least ground targets. Then you've got access to the Ataka ATGMs, which are always lovely to see. You also have access to Iglas, and then on top of it you have access to a set of 4 23mm, which sits in this area here. I don't know if you can get access to all of the 23mm. What I mean by this is like 8 23mm. I can't see it in these options, but you can get access to 16 Ataka ATGMs if you want. The basic loadouts, or the basic full loadouts that you're going to want to take with this, is either this one, which gives you 8 Ataka missiles, 4 Iglas, and the S8KO rockets, or you want to take one which gives you the 4 Igla air-to-air missiles, then it gives you the 8 Ataka missiles, and also the 10 S13 or S13DF rockets, so these ones right here. So this should be the general loadout for your machine. It also gets access to NVDs that you can see here, so that should be really nice to it as well. Overall, it's looking very competent compared to the other 10.3s we have in the game, such as the Eurocopter Tiger. I would definitely be comfortable using this in a setting, against other helicopters. Not sure against, aircraft and stuff, or airplanes and stuff like that, but you know how it is. The next one is the premium helicopter that is coming to the game for the Soviets. The Ka-50 is going to be a Rank VI battle rating 10.0 vehicle, and you can see how large it is. Only having access to 1 crew member though, one pilot, and that is it. It is definitely a lonesome helicopter for this one lad. And also, the customization options, you get access to 2 camouflages. Now, if you pre-order it, I believe you also get a shark camouflage, but these are the 2 standard ones. So you've got the standard one you see here, and then the black camo, which is the one that we're going to be running, just because to me it looks the best. Then, when we look at the armament options, it has a turret 30mm once again, but it's slightly different to the one on the Mi-28. You can see the Mi-28 can turn all over the place. It's designed to be very much spherical in that way, so it can point any which way. The Ka-50 one is a lot different. It actually only points well, up and down, really. If we're honest, it turns with the plane. Sorry, it turns with the helicopter instead of just by itself independently. And also you can see the loading screens move, which is really nice. Let's just take off with this. You see with the you can see it like droop down there and stuff. Let's see, there you go. So you can see it go up and down when we go up and down, which looks really funny. It also, you know, you can tuck in your wheels and stuff like that. Feels incredibly maneuverable, by the way, for such a little, well, I shouldn't say little, but for a helicopter which is such a large one. Of course, we have the ATGMs. We can just fire them all over the place, hit any target we feel like. And I will be setting up the different, you know, I will be setting up the different ways of actually using the lock-on stuff while we go forward. So look forward to that in the future videos. But basically, you've got crazy optics on the Ka-50. You've got access to, of course, IR-powered stuff, which is lovely to see as well. What am I even locked onto? Like, what is going on? Oh, why is everything blinking at me? I don't know. Everything's going crazy. Turn it off. Turn it off. It won't turn off. Oh, well. I'll find out what's going on with that in a little bit. But yeah, there's... you can see what I was talking about with the gun. Then the other armaments that it gets, so it gets access to, once again, these S8Ko rockets, and then also access to 8 23mm. So if you really want some brute in your life, this is what you go for. You know, this is the wonderful world of Mr. Magoo, where you just decide that everything around you has to die. Very similar. Look at that! Holy hell! Look at that load screen. Wow, that was awesome. But anyway, this is the anything in front of me must die package, which just completely floods the air full of pretty much anything you want when it comes to ammunition. So basically just dropping a bunch of lead over in that general direction. Then you have access to the cannons with the rockets. Then the Vikhr missiles, which are the ATGMs. You can see there, firing range 10 kilometers, 1000mm a pen, 866mm, and 500mm. So these can outrange, I think, all SAMs in the game when it comes to ground forces. Have fun with them. They're going to be really great to face, especially all 12 of them, you know. And you can even bring them along with some Iglas. So you can bring 6 Vikhrs and some, you know, Iglas as well. So this is probably your general loadout when it comes to the helicopter game mode. 2 Iglas, 6 Vikhrs, missiles, and then 40 of the S8Kos, along with a 30mm turret. The other loadout I would also say is probably going to be used a bit more is this one, which is just for ground realistic, just taking the big boys, the 12 Vikhr missiles, and just going ham at 10 kilometers away. So you can just take off, use your crazy optics, because this thing has insane optics, as you've seen before, and we'll go into it a little bit more when it comes to, you know, looking at it and doing a deep dive, but the optics are insane. The next vehicle is the Italian Premium, which is coming out just like the Japanese one did. It's coming out by its single self and in the helicopter tree, and it is the A-129 International. Now, this is a prototype version of the International, which is why it only has a 4-bladed prop instead of a 5-bladed prop, so that is, you know, something to take into account. It also has access to the Klimov VK2502 turbo shafts. Obviously it doesn't, but that needs renaming, and you got the pilot and the gunner as well. Has access to a 12.7mm on a flexible turret mount, and also has access to Hellfires, which is going to be incredibly fun. The fact is that the Ka-50 is a 10.0 vehicle, the Mi-28N is a 10.3 vehicle, and of course the Italian is a 9.7. So this is much more similar to the H-1S Kisarazu that we see from the Japanese, this machine here, than these other top tier helicopters that are being added into the game. If you look at the general modifications for this machine, it does you do get nice belts. Well, you actually get okay belts for the 12.7s, universal and stealth for the way to go, and you get so many options when it comes to your armaments. So you got the Hydras, you got the MGs if you really want them, you got the Mighty Mice or the Mighty Mouse rockets that you can bring in, MGs and Hydras, but the main ones, of course, are the TOW missiles and the Hellfires, which are the ones that you want to go for. It does have access to night vision. The Ka-50 does not have access to night vision, so that is... Oh no, it does get access to night vision. I thought that it didn't. They said that it didn't, but it looks like it does. Then the A-129 does get access to night vision, along with the AGM-114s, of course the Hellfires, and the TOW-2s. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a powerful vehicle, just like a lot of the other top tier helicopters, and it's a nice addition for the Italians, especially for people who wanted to play Italian helicopters, but, well, don't have a tree. So yeah, that is that's, you know, something to point out for these machines. Also has a helicopter, it also has a cockpit, but you are incredibly like close in when it comes to this. So you've got this, which is the gunner view. You know, you are actually in the cockpit for the gunner view, which is really cool. So that's awesome. Then you have the actual aimer, which is right here. You can, you know, set up the laser designator if you really feel like it, and just kind of stick it on the point there. So the Hellfire has been fired. It will reach the target in about 1 second, and boop. It will just hit it from just the air. You can see it go up there. Craziness. Oops. Probably should, you know, set that up. Oh, it was laser guided, so it was actually going over there anyway. You can see that, you know, it'll just come from the air, just like all the other Hellfires. It's the same as, you know, the Hellfires you're used to in the game. The other thing is, in hover mode, let's just turn it off hover mode so we can move. The 12.7 is a little bit lackluster in my opinion. But, you know, it's nice to have the option, and of course you have all of the rockets on board as well. Let's just put the... we don't have any gear control, so the gear just stay out. That's okay. So, yeah, it's the fact that it has the gunner view in the cockpits I think is really cool. It is a little bit blurry. It would be nice if it was a bit less blurry, but I'm guessing that's just because this is like an SD cockpit. We're going to have to see. It does also have the RWR, and I'm sure the RWR will get more and more sophisticated as we goes. Also, it does have a glass cockpit, so you are able to, you know, use it as a glass cockpit. And you can see, if you are in the pilot view, the 12.7 just fires straight, so you can kind of guide it in, but not really. And you can also guide the rockets in as well, but it's much harder to do. Maybe this could be our first simulator helicopter experience, which is more realistic than some of the others. Whoa! Oh, it's wonderful. Anyway, though that is a quick look at the 3 helicopters that are coming into the game, at least on the first dev server. Maybe there'll be more in the future, who knows. But right now, this is what we are looking at. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Ambrosius McClellan, B. Young, Blackie, Daniel Stanton, Jay Wilt, John Ryman, Joseph Anders, Martinez, Moxie, Super Cacti, Uyins Terry, E-Love Goat, and Seductive Trash Can for supporting the channel.